Hey, hey, hey. We are live. It is Friday. We've made it. We've made it to Friday. Let me stop sharing. Hey, y'all. Hey. Yay. Fave time of the week. You guys know I just adore you, one. And it really does bring me all the joy to be here in community with y'all each and every week. So hello, wherever you are. Please chat in the comments. Let me know that you're here as we wait for some more folks to arrive. Super excited to be with y'all this week. First up, can we please talk about the inaugural style? I, for one, am so excited to have stylish, attractive, intelligent grown-ups in our office again. Really excited about that. In my Facebook group, Style for Smart Cookies, we had a little thread going where I asked about like what people's favorite style moments from the inauguration. Michelle, I feel like she should be like Cher or Madonna now. Like we just call her Michelle. Just she's the only one we need. That whole burgundy wine berry violet situation, oh, just it was just so good. And the hair, the bang, the swoop bang, oh my gosh. Oh, I live. Madam Vice President Kamala Harris just in the royal purple. There were so many moments. We cannot leave out Amanda Gorman, the yellow color block with the red headpiece, like just so delightfully like youthful and hopeful, and her words and just everything. So I'm still on a high because the bar had been set so low. It was really nice to just see everything that we got to see on Wednesday. So yay us, yay style's back in the White House. We also had some fun talking about, I had some fun talking about Gaga and the Hunger Games realness situation that she brought with the giant bird and that super big skirt. And like, here's what I will say. One thing that I love about Gaga, and I want all of us to be like this, whatever your style lane is, live it out loud, right? Like if you're super minimal, be the most minimal you can be. If you're super extra, like extra it up, like I have to hand it to her. Like that was so much look. I mean, for Gaga, I think it was like a toned down look. It was so much look for the occasion. And I just kept making these jokes, of her and, the president talking, and him probably being like, hey, like, it's my inauguration. She's like, yes, it's your inauguration. Like it was not clear to me that she knew exactly whose stage it was. But again, I'm not knocking her for this. Like every stage is a stage when you're Gaga. And I love the energy. I truly do. Garth Brooks with his, like, these are my dress for dinner jeans. I can't, y'all. I can't. That is not an example of being true to one style that I can get with. Like, it's the inauguration. Like, just get some slacks. Okay. Please chat in. Would love to see who's here. I see Casey's here. Hi, Casey. And if you guys have any thoughts on your inaugural style. So today we are talking about style for every size, or style at every size. So I get a lot of like questions sometimes. They're not actually questions, they're actually statements more, right? Where people are just like, oh, what you do sounds super interesting. Like I need to lose some weight, but like I'll definitely be in touch, right? Or yeah, like, I definitely like would like to like have more like style, or like understand like a few more things, or like know how to put myself together a little bit better. But like, like I just need to like lose like the last 10 pounds. So there's a lot that I hear, right? And again, like, how I am. We are not going to sit in judgment for any of these feelings or any of these decisions. What we are going to do is talk about How do we put ourselves in the position to feel really good about what we're putting on our bodies at every size? And so that's definitely what I want to talk about today. So I'm going to be coming at you guys with just some thoughts on that, and then also 3 keys to making those moves where no matter where you are with your personal size and style and your feelings about that, 3 key moves you can make immediately that are really going to help you to dress for the body you have and hopefully gain some confidence and feel good about those decisions. So stick with me. You're not going to want to miss these 3 keys. But first, let's kind of talk about like how do we get here, right? Like how do we get into this feeling state, right? So a lot of it is like I think there's a lot of like societal expectations or just things that like we have been, kind of indoctrinated with, of really believing on some level that great style is only available to and should only be for a select group of people. And those people are tall, they are thin, and often in our culture, they are white and sometimes blonde, right? Like we have this aesthetic. And I don't care how many like Kardashians you throw at things who appropriate, big butts and like, thicker lips, like we still that's recent, right? So I think for the vast majority of us, on some level, it resonates that to have great style, there is a look that goes with great style. And unlearning that or figuring out that that is like just lies, I think that's really tough. And so, what I see in working with women, over 1,000 women, in my career, a lot of it is that message, even though like in your heart of hearts it's not right and it doesn't need to be true, because we don't all have the tools to style ourselves in a way that feels authentic to us and in a way that feels effortless and easy and helps our confidence. Those 2 things start to work together in a really negative way, meaning we have this thing where we're like, okay, style's only for certain people. And then we go to try and find a pair of jeans and it's like a disaster. And so we end up in this horrible cycle of reinforcing the notion that great style or great fit is not for my body, right? Like my body is so unique, different. Sometimes we're unkind to ourselves, right? When we say like my body is weird or I have like, an odd shape, right? And so we start to kind of rationalize, which is very normal, but we start to rationalize all the ways that clothing has failed us. Because it's like, well, what else are you supposed to think, right? At a certain point, you spent 20 or 30 years in dressing rooms trying to make this stuff work and it's just not coming together, right? So whether that's a fit thing of actually finding the right pieces that fit, or for some of us, it's a style thing, right? Of like you buy lots of pieces, but they never seem to coherently or cohesively come together into outfits that you like and that you can keep putting together for yourself time after time after time. For a lot of my clients, it's like you have like this one look you had, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And you have no idea how to replicate that. And so when you look good or you feel good, it starts to feel like an exception more than a rule, right? And that's really tough. So that's the first thing I want to talk about is just like understanding that there are societal things happening, right, that really do influence the baseline expectation that we have for who is allowed to look good. And wherever we are on that journey, I think giving yourself permission to understand that that is at work and at play probably all of the time, whether or not we're super conscious of it, I think that that's just a really good thing to acknowledge. Would love to hear, from y'all in the comments, like, does this resonate? Are these thoughts that you've had yourselves? What has that journey been like for you? So next up, we're going to talk about the stories we tell ourselves. So a lot of times we have these stories that we tell ourselves about style. So some of them are what I just said, right? Of like, styles for tall people, styles for thin people, And those are kind of the stories that we tell ourselves that continue to get fueled, and we reinforce that over and over until we're left with a closet full of nothing to wear and a lot of frustration, right? But then that also becomes your normal of like, I guess this is just me and my wardrobe. So a couple of things that I hear a lot. So one is we've talked about like, well, I'm going to lose X amount of weight, and then that body, she gets to have the style. This body, no, she's put on some pounds. She can't have, so it's like you really have to understand that like there's a difference between a goal of, whether it's losing weight or getting healthy or whatever that means for you. Why do we allow that to derail immediate happiness with how we feel in our current skin? And so that kind of like future projection on our aspirational selves, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like there's nothing wrong with having a goal. Like for some of my clients, it's like, after I have my last child, right? And they've been in this kind of yo-yo of like maternity clothes to, postpartum, back to maternity clothes, even if it's been a couple years in between. But still just that thought of like, well, my aspirational self, she's done with kids. So like she's gonna look cute. You're gonna love her. She's fantastic and she's gonna dress the part. This lady, and it's just like, why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we think that that's okay? And so I just want us to like sit with that for a moment of, again, just really understanding I know it feels like a tension sometimes, but like aspirational you is cool, but current you also deserves to look and feel good in your body and in your clothes. This lady right here, right now, deserves that. So how do we make that happen, right? Because a lot of times what comes with these stories we tell ourselves they're not really excuses, right? Like they are valid reasons, right? So what's one of them? Cost, right? Investment. So for my clients who are, in a stage of their life where they are having children and in the process of, adding to their families, um, a lot of times it's like, listen, like, I don't want to buy a bunch of stuff. I don't know like what my eventual size will be, right? And or I'm at a place or a stage where like, my kids have like really grabby hands. I don't want to invest a lot of money in like really nice things and have them get ruined, right? Like these are not excuses. These are realities of someone's current context, right? But what I see, and again, this is not because we're not trying hard enough, right? This is a lack of knowledge. What I see is that we equate nice clothes with things like dry clean only or, what have you, where the clients I work with often they just don't know that there's still a way to look polished and pulled together and throw something in the wash, or there's a way to shop for pieces that are discounted or on sale or donated or have a swap party. There's so many things that we can do if the cost or the investment feels like the issue, but we end up letting all of this become an excuse, right? So we go from valid reasons to excuses, and we let all of this become an excuse for not investing in ourselves where we are currently, and putting it's a lot of pressure to put on aspirational you, right? But we push everything off onto her. She gets to look good. She gets to like live this amazing life. It's going to be awesome. Current you just has to like suffer with whatever's going on. And like, I reject that. I reject it. Another thing that I hear is definitely like, wanting to lose weight. And again, I'm not here to tell you about your weight loss journey, right? Or like, if you want to lose weight, great. Like my hope is, of course, that comes from a place of like health and wellness, and not pressure to look a certain way or be a certain size. But again, like that's not my place. I can hope for you, but I can't make you do anything, which sometimes I get mad about, but that's okay. But, all that to say, sometimes again, what happens is we don't allow ourselves to believe that there are good options out there at the weight that you're at. And so again, reasons and excuses. Reasons, there's a historical context for that, right? Like, especially if you're in the plus category, those options used to be, I mean, tragic. Like, let's just call it what it is. It was like deplorable, right? Like, not okay, where you were potentially like a young person and all of the options, for your size range were like really mature. The quality wasn't great, like it was just very difficult. There's so many brands who are becoming more size inclusive. And this is the thing. Some people are like, oh, it's just a trend. Take advantage of it, right? Like, I don't care if like brands are like, oh my God, it's trendy to be like curvier now. Like, great, make me some clothes. So take advantage of those things, like live your life, go find the trends that you enjoy, that you like, and the sizes that you wear, and start feeling good about what you're putting on your body. But so when it becomes an excuse, right, is like, oh, like, like if I just lose this weight, like my clothes will fit better. No, like, no, right? Like, I think we want that to be true because we want to lose the weight. But again, what you're doing is punishing yourself for putting the weight on by denying yourself the actual opportunity to look good as you are right now, today. So that's hard, right? It's hard to admit that that's what we're doing. Every day that you delay buying something or shopping your closet for something that will help you to look and feel good is a day that you are putting off, a state of mind and decisions and happiness right now that could influence future you in a way you haven't even thought of yet. So I like encourage all of us to, it's like it can be complex, but I encourage all of us to just like really distill it down into, am I saving either my clothing allowance, my budget, my like positive mindset, like what am I saving for future me versus what am I willing to give current me? What am I willing to bet on for current me and like give her a life that she deserves to lead as well? So we're going to move into the 3 key moves that anybody can make if you are fluctuating between sizes, if you are not happy, right, with your current size. Like, that's a thing. We don't have to sugarcoat it. Wherever you are on that journey, let's talk about like, well, what do you do about it, right? So first up, stop hiding in clothes that are too big. So a lot of times, it's like if we've got, rolls or different things on our bodies that like we're not as comfortable with, getting clothes that are like kind of oversized feels like that's going to help. Usually you're just going to look as big as the clothes you are putting on. So if your objective is not to look bigger and you're concerned about areas of your body that you feel have gotten larger and that's making you either uncomfortable or feel less confident, putting on bigger things makes you look bigger. And it's like, I think we know that on some level, but again, so much of what I'm talking about today, it's a know better, do better, right? I think if women had training, real training, like when I talk about in my groups and what I provide in my courses about like body shape and fit, we would do better. We would have more options. We would know what to look for. And I think for so many of us, it really feels like style is this thing that like you have it or you don't. Some of us just like figure it out and some of us didn't at some point, and like tough luck. And like, that's not true. A lot of, like I'm a former teacher, I'm an educator. So much of this for me is about like helping people to understand there's a way to reach your goals. And if your goal is to look like a more stylish or put together or polished person, no matter the occasion, I don't care if you have, small children, like whatever your life stage is, there is a way to do that in a really easy system in what I teach. And I teach women how to do this over and over and over. And they're like, oh my God, this is so easy. Right. So there's a way to learn how to do these things. And I think once you have that knowledge, then the reasons are still there, but the excuses go away. Right. It's like, I actually, there, like for like my mom clients, right. I'm like, you're going to hate me, right? But like, there is no reason to look as tired as you feel. I said what I said. So, right, it's not about the reason or the context of like you are tired, you are dealing with a lot, especially like in like pandemic times, right? But like there is a way to dress yourself, not in fancy clothes, right? But in clothes that fit and fit your lifestyle, that are machine washable, that are durable, whatever it is you need, and look like you have your life together. You do not need to look as tired as you feel. Y'all gonna hate me today. That's okay. We're here for the real. We're here for the real talk and the tea. Am I right? Okay. I just this is the comment. Like just the emoji of just like, is she talking to me? I am. I think a lot of us do, right? Like this is how we go from reasons to excuses, and my job is to get y'all from excuses back to reasons, right? Like the reasons are valid, but like let's not have that turn into a situation where it just sometimes we be looking rough. That's okay. I have my days, right? But like let's get y'all the knowledge to be able to really make that a choice. Okay? Make it a choice. Like that is what I want for you, is that you are making intentional choices about how you look and how that comes across to others and how you feel, right? Most importantly, about what that does for your own mental health and your own well-being. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron is like, yes, 100%. Anna, I'm here for it. Like, I don't know, like, how do people get TED Talks? If we have any PR people in the room, like, help sister out. Y'all, that'd be so nerve-wracking. So nerve-wracking. Casey, this is hysterical. I mean, but it's intentional, right? Like Casey, this cracks me up. Or have y'all ever like you go to the doctor and like for women especially, sometimes it's like they just never believe us. Sometimes, not all doctors, okay, not all doctors, but there are times where like I know certain colors just like make me look like really sickly. Y'all, I am not ashamed. I will put that color on and roll up into the office like I need some help. We do what we have to do. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so that was number one. Stop hiding in clothes that are too big. So the other side of this, most of my clients, and I've styled, like tons of women, y'all, most of my clients are actually buying their clothes too big. Which is interesting because I think a lot of times we think people probably like have stuff on that's like too tight or like when we think ill fitting, we think too tight. Most of the time, it's so interesting. It's actually too big. There's too much volume happening in places where you don't need volume. That's just adding bulk, or kind of like sometimes like it obstructs the natural lines you already have going on. So that's a big one. The other side of that is, girl, go up a size. Go up a size. I see this mostly in jeans. There's some sort of like emotional like obstacle we have around pant size, like more so than top size, more so than dress size. Like there's something about pants that like people like we will just hold on for dear life, squeezing into things, right? Just to be like, I'm still this size, and like meanwhile you're like out of breath, you've got like marks on your stomach, like it's so uncomfortable. And we're just like, but I get to say that I'm this size. So there's a couple things here. Sometimes if you were in a weight gain process, I work with a lot of women and myself where this happened recently, where like if you've been squeezing into things right for a while and it's like kind of working out, by the time you go to figure out like, okay, I need new jeans, you actually don't know what size you are. That happened to me recently. I was like, I mean, I guess I'll go up one. We'll see what happens. So I think for a lot of us, the emotional like of I might need to go up 2 sizes because of weight gain or whatever it is, or like it's been a while. I think that's a sticking point for a lot of us. And again, I'm here to give you permission, right, to understand the short-term hit to your ego is like something that like just like get that over with for the long term benefit of one, like breathing normally in your pants, but two, what you're concerned about, right? Of like looking bigger or being bigger. When your clothes fit properly, you look more proportionally, you look more proportional, and the fit of your clothes determines that, right? You're going to look like an appropriately sized person, no matter what size that is, when you have clothes on that fit. So let me give you an example of this. For a lot of us, I'll have women come to me and they'll be like, well, I have like a weird body shape. I have like a muffin top, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, here's what's happening. You're buying some sort of like low rise jean situation or like, work pant. Those pants are cutting you off. They are actually cutting you off and squeezing your belly up and over the pants, hence muffin top, right? If you stand naked in front of a mirror, do you have a muffin top? You don't. You may have a stomach, your stomach may have a roll or a curve to it, right? That's on that, but it is smooth. Do you see what I'm saying? Like those things are smooth on the way down. A muffin top comes from having not the right cut of pants. So if you go higher rise and you go up and over where your midsection is at its fullest, all of a sudden you no longer have a muffin top that you've told yourself is actually an attribute of your body. It is not. So fit goes a long way. And so going up a size actually helps you to smooth the things that you're probably worried about because you've gotten them a container that fits all your stuff, right? So stuff is kind of like doing this around, splooging out of the edges. What a terrible word, Brandeis. That is what often makes you look not great in clothing. You're not as flattered in the clothing you wear, and you feel larger or bigger or whatever it is that is making you feel, some type of way about your body and your look, right? And your appearance. It's often because like you're wearing clothes that are too tight or too small. And you're doing that because you just, the blow to the ego of going from a 10 to a 14 or whatever it is for you, you're willing to sacrifice actually looking better in your clothes in a bigger body because you're tied to that number. So think on that. Get you some bigger bottoms. I promise you will look better. Third, I hear a lot, it's like, hey, I have like a whole bunch of sizes in my closet, right? My weight fluctuates a lot, right? Again, that is a valid reason. That is a thing. There are people where your weight does fluctuate, 10, 20 pounds right within a year. So what happens though is like you have like full wardrobes for every size and it's overwhelming. And I'll tell you a story. I had a client in New York once, and I say New York only for the fact that like that should help to paint the picture of like storage is like it's like a non thing, right? So she had, a 1-bedroom apartment. She had one closet and then like dressers and then like under the bed. So, she's like, well, like I don't have a lot of storage. And I'm like, well, what is all of this? Because there's like stuff like peeking out from underneath her bed. And she's like, oh, well, like those are my size 4s. And she currently wears a size 12. I'm like, okay. I said, why, like, but like, what is that? Like, I'm just confused. I'm like, why do you have these like size 4 clothes if you are a size 12? This is the size that you currently wear. And she's like, well, like I have a personal trainer, like da-da-da. Like, I'm going to get back into those. And I was like, okay. And again, y'all, like when people say I'm going to get back into something, it is not my place to be like, no, you're not. Or I mean, like, do what you need to do, right? Like if that is your goal, go for it. But the thing is, what is the mental weight and the mental energy of having a whole bunch of itty bitty too small clothes literally haunting you under your bed every night? That feels like a very high emotional tax to pay to me, to just have, or if they're in your closet or whatever, right? To just have like a whole bunch of clothes staring at you being like, remember the good old days? That was my Alexis. Did you guys get that? Do the hands. Remember the good old days where we would just like wear these things? Like, why? It's not necessary. And I know what you're going to say next. Next, you're like, but if I get rid of them and then I do get back down to that size, I'm not going to have anything to wear. To which I reply to you, have you ever really not ever had anything to wear? And the answer is no. It's no. There are times where you don't like what you have to wear, but have you ever just like roamed the streets naked? You haven't. So then the next thing you're going to say is, okay, but like, why would I like donate or get rid of like perfectly good clothes? Right? That's money, right? Again, reasons versus excuses. That's money. I don't want to, have to like repurchase those things if these clothes are serviceable. Understandable. But here's what I'm going to say. By the time you get back into these clothes, styles will have changed, trends will have changed, you might have changed. We have these really unreasonable expectations for our wardrobes. We expect our clothing to somehow be there for the arc of our lives, pretending that we don't change, that we don't have different aspirations, different stages of our lives, different goals, different things that we want out of life. And we expect our closets to just like keep jamming in all the new stuff. And then like most ends up being, like a museum of like, remember your 20s or remember whatever. And like, it's just not realistic. So again, in the same way that we're not going to let future us have all the fun and dress her, but not this lady, we're also not going to let past be push us around into having a closet full of stuff that nobody can fit in. We're not going to do that. So that is what I want to say about that. Practically, what I will offer to you is ruthlessly edit your closet for the sizes that don't fit. I'm not saying you have to get rid of all of them. Again, I really do appreciate there's certain, for us, we're like, you do go between say like a 6, an 8, and a 10 regularly. Keep one pair of well-fitting jeans in each of those. My gut tells me you may not have a well-fitting pair of jeans in each of those. You just have 3 jeans and you keep them all, or multiples, right? So this is what I mean about like ruthlessly edit. If you can't get into them now, you're like, how am I supposed to edit? Like, the last time you wore those, if they were comfortable, if you felt good in them, if you thought you could have done better, right? If you just got them on sale because they were there, like get rid of that stuff and have like a little mini edit, okay, of those different size categories. We good? I think we're good. So thank you for coming to my style TED Talk today. Anna, I appreciate that. Thank you for coming to my style TED Talk. But like, this is just, it's so near and dear to my heart. I've shared my story with so many of you, that I have endometriosis. I gained 20 pounds in 6 weeks once. And it just like rocked my world, in terms of really being able to like, I had to figure out fit. I was a thin privileged person before that. Believe me, at that size, I was still pretty thin privileged, but for me, it was, a difference, right? And having to figure out like, oh, there's a role here. Like, how do you dress that in a wool pencil skirt in a professional environment when it used to just slip right on, right? Like, I actually had to figure those things out. And, even now, right, in the past 5 years, like I've gained 65 pounds. My metabolism, I turned 36. My metabolism was like, girl, it has been fun. I have really enjoyed this time that we have shared together. And I'm going to go, like, literally, y'all, like, I feel like my metabolism was just like, much love, B, much love. And like, she left the building. So, this is also me. I am you. We are like, I am also here. Right. And like continually figuring out as sizes change, as like things are new on my body. Y'all look at me like looking like, I'm like that. Yes, there's like more things. Right. But the beauty of understanding fit is that I will always be able to figure out what flatters. And that is where I can feel good no matter If I'm truly feeling great about my body that day or just faking it a little bit, I can always get around that. And that's what I want for you guys too. So stay tuned. A couple of announcements. I'm going to get to the comments. One, I am speaking next week with a group called Nutritional Freedom. I really like their vibe. They're like an anti-diet culture like type of place, right? So it is about nutrition and it is about wellness. And like if it resonates for you, it is in some way about weight, right? But it's all in this like it's very anti-diet culture. It's not about like, oh, like how do I get into these jeans or like how do I, like what kind of like restrictive practices can I leverage to like be the person I've always wanted to be? Like it truly is, it vibes with me in that sense of like you have to show up for you right now. Like how are you ever going to be happy 20 pounds less if you can't figure out how to be happy now? Like why do we tell ourselves that like losing weight or being a certain size is actually going to make us happy? It will make you thinner and you still have to deal with all this. That's still going to be there. So I really enjoy their vibe. They have a membership that folks can join. There's like a 7-day free trial. So I'm speaking there. Let me get you guys the info. Oh, I should have put the date. Sorry. That's their website, but I'm speaking there on January 28th. So next Thursday. It's only available to their members. But again, like if y'all sign up for the free trial and like they're expecting this, like you're not like gaming anything, right? Like they know that people who know me might be like, oh, I want to hear Brandy talk. And also check them out. So they're great people. So I'm speaking there. And then like if y'all know of companies that you either work for or have like affiliations with that you think could benefit from me hosting a workshop on, like authentic personal brands or aligning like your personal brand and your purpose or how to present yourself, better on camera, please hit your girl up. This is a community, and I would love to be a part of some of the communities that you all are in. All right, I'm going to get to the comments and we going to get on with things. Okay. Yes, I will present the way I need to so my doctor listens. I know, it's crazy, right? Like we shouldn't have to do that. We do a lot of things we shouldn't have to do. I'll put this up here. I have a beautiful red wool pea coat that I grew out of but couldn't bring myself to get rid of because beautiful, right? For like 14 years. Over the last couple of years, I've lost a lot of weight. Now the coat is too big. I miss my window. I don't know who wrote this one, but I'm like, I am laughing and sad for it. You know what I mean? Like I get it, right? It's like the window closed and like the coat. And alterations are hard for a coat, right? Like it's always so expensive and sometimes it's hard to justify it. So the real question is, are you still holding on to it? Are you still like, I'll just wait till I have a swing the other way? Or after 14 years, are you finally like, okay, maybe it's time for this coat and I to part ways? I want to know this. Someone else said my metabolism the day I turned 40. I know, right? It was just like, oh my God, it has been so good meeting you. It just leaves. Okay, so Deanda says, what are your favorite brands for plus size jeans? Great question. I am a fan of Good American. I find that their rise is a little bit long. Like I have a very short waist. So for me, I'm just going to say like the crotch is long on me. So like it doesn't look super flattering, but I'm the only person I know who that's happened to. Like I've put several clients in and like they just look amazing out the gate. One of the things that I love is like the size range for sure. I think they go up to at least a 24. They might go to 26. They might go more than that. They're really, really focused on the inclusivity, which I think is fantastic. And I learned from someone in my Facebook group that they offer a size 15, which is awesome because for those of you who've ever been on that cusp of quote unquote misses and then plus, man, that line is so hard to walk, right? Because like the difference, like a 14W, if it's offered a 16 and a 16W can vary so dramatically. And for a lot of women, like 14 is like a smidge too small, but the W, like the women's sizes just don't fit your body right. So I was really excited to learn that there's a 15. So I like Good American. I like, is it Blank NYC? Y'all, I got to look at my phone. I have another brand. I shop at Nordstrom a lot. that I really like. Vince Camuto. I love Vince Camuto. So not Vince. There's Vince and there's Vince Camuto. Vince Camuto jeans. I do enjoy them. And I'm trying to Slink. That's what it is. Slink. I think it's Slink at Nordstrom. Let me just verify. Yeah, Slink jeans. I like those. And Wit and Wisdom at Nordstrom too. They've got like a really affordable price point, which I very much enjoy. So I hope that that is helpful. That was Holly. I still have the coat, but probably should donate because I don't need that energy in my life. I'm just saying, Holly, it feels like this coat and you've been on a journey, and it may be time to just like go your separate ways and know that you will both be fine in life. It sounds like the coat has been fine. You have been fine. It's all been fine. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful. Thank you for sticking in with me, and being here for these tips. I love this time with you. Definitely hit me up on all the socials, right? Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook is at Brandeis Nicole. And then my website is style.brandeisnicole.com. Make sure to sign up for my newsletter if you haven't, so you can get on my weekly email list. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. All right. Have really great weekends, y'all. Bye.